So I just wanted to dive in right away because
Yeah.
I feel like the last couple years have been very turbulent for the band, and things just keep going weird because you guys postponed the album to the 7th of August.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. I think firstly the virus hit, and that was pretty devastating in terms of we had this whole plan set up, and then just had to like tear it in half. I know we're not the only people who had to do that, so it is, yeah, just it is what it is. And we've had to kind of rebuild that plan. We had this huge like festival thing set up to like launch the album at Red Rocks. It's like my favorite venue in the world, and all of my friends were going to come open up, and like Denzel was going to turn up, and it's all gone.
Yeah,
So that was annoying.
I feel like tearing up plans is like a common theme for you the last couple of years.
Yeah, that did happen with Joe as well. Like we were meant to be touring that second album for quite a bit longer, and then obviously, yeah, he had the terrible accident, and we didn't know if he'd recover. We didn't know if we'd ever be back on the road and touring again. So yeah, we've but weirdly like the I don't know. I found a lot of because I started writing the record after that happened to Joe. There's a lot of I found, yeah, just a lot of parallels between that situation and the COVID lockdown situation that kind of gave me the confidence to release the music
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he had his accident, I was in the hospital. I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. All seemed really bleak and shitty. Uh, and I was stuck inside all day, like without anything happening. I wasn't like going out seeing friends. So your brain just goes into like memory mode, and starts like I think humans like need experience to feel human.
Yeah.
They need to be doing like new things, and I think that's your brain's way of compensating, is like one, having really crazy dreams,
Mhm.
and two, like reliving these old memories and nostalgia, that
We
feeling
love
of nostalgia.
nostalgia.
Yeah, and I felt like I was just coming out of that after the Joe situation, when I was starting to like see the light, and he was touring again, he was playing
Yeah.
drums again, and then lockdown. Um,
And
and
here
I
we
just
are.
found the like parallel was kind of uncanny. Like again, the future is totally up in the air. You're locked in, don't know what's going to happen, and nostalgic stuff was coming back. And I noticed that in a lot of what my friends were saying, what they were like eating, what they were watching on TV, everything.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, what they're talking about. So yeah, it kind of felt like it fit in a weird way, very unlikely way.
Yeah, I was about to say also because you coming back with all your memories and stuff like that, usually you don't really dive into your personal stuff when it comes to writing music. But on this next record, I haven't heard it in full, but what I've heard is that it's a very personal record.
It's definitely really personal. Yeah, I
Why did
feel
you
quite weird.
Yeah, why did you stay away from writing personal songs before this?
Other people are definitely more interesting than me. So I was writing songs about other people. Also, it's the way I was brought up. My mum was always like, don't, think about others first,
Mm,
and then think about yourself. That was part of it. And the other was, I, I don't know, the idea of the music was always to like try and bring people together and help people. So why would you write about yourself if you're trying to like ultimately doing it for other people? But there are a couple of things kind of led to writing more personal stuff. There was that song Agnes on the end of the last record that I really didn't want to release. I hated the idea of releasing that.
what tipped you over?
The band, the label, yeah. And so I put it on at the end. um,
Hopefully,
and
nobody will ever get to that song.
exactly, maybe the album's like so terrible that they'll just turn off by that point. But it ended up like people, it's probably had the most like emotional reaction of anything
Mhm.
we've done so far. And that sort of made me rethink the way that I saw it and the way that I listened to a lot of my favorites, I realized that a lot of my favorite songs by other artists are my favorite songs because they've written something really personal and they've like justified me having a similar weird feeling. And I realized that maybe that song did that and it was kind of okay. And actually that's probably more helpful to be like really vulnerable and show vulnerability in a space where, I don't know, I think a lot of the time growing up, people are told not to be vulnerable, not to show that, and to hide their emotions and to like fit into this like stereotype format of behaviors. And I only just started realizing how dark that is and how much it fucks people up. It really messes people up. Like all these like horrible gender stereotypes. And I grew up in Texas, in America, where that is like so rigid and implanted in your head. And then I moved to England and you start to realize like, oh my God, it's quite damaging. The world's like so much more colorful and more fluid than what you're told.
I'm so happy that you came to the realization that your story is very interesting as well as other people, their stories.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it is particularly weird or interesting or unique or anything, but I guess the only but
relatable is maybe a good
maybe
word.
That's it. Maybe it's so normal.
Yeah, exactly.
That it's like other people realize it's okay to like, I don't know, hopefully other people just start, the idea is to just make people doubt those really ingrained ways of thinking that are really toxic. Yeah.
But I also read that you writing for other cool artists such as Joey Badass, Flume, Wale, Khalid, that they were working on very personal projects as well, and that inspired you to dabble into your own personal experiences. Which one of those artists really struck a chord with you when it comes to the personal stuff?
I mean, I'm lucky enough to have worked with a lot of amazing people, and they learn so much in those situations. But watching Black work is just like, he's such a personal writer. He writes from his heart, and he's not afraid to be sensitive. I think it's really powerful. And when you're kind of writing with someone else, you start to realize that what they gravitate towards and what they like is when you do something personal, because they can see themselves in it more than writing something abstract.
Yeah.
So that was a powerful learning moment. I
like that one. Which song from the record laid down the foundation for the rest of the album? Maybe the song that gave you the confidence to stay on this personal route.
I mean, I spoke about Agnes already. That was a big thing, and seeing the reaction of that song live, and also the response to the everything video. I got sent a lot of, I don't know how people know where like my managers live and stuff, but they started getting letters. And I was like, oh wow, that's like, the reaction's crazy in terms of just like the emotional reaction is amazing, and I never expected that at all. So that was a big one. And then with this record, I started Dreamland, this title track, Dreamland. That was the first track where I kind of started writing down, it's like the table of contents, started writing down like what I thought each other song in the album had to be about. So each line of that song is kind of to be expanded upon later in the album. And I think while I was writing that song, which was the first one for the record, I started realizing like, this where I had to go to make the album work. And that was the like tearing off the band-aid moment, I guess. I'm going in.
We're gonna do this.
We're gonna do it. I didn't know if it would turn into an album or something. I just kind of started writing with that like kind of idea. And I do a lot of things where I start like a big idea and I write like 20 songs under that umbrella. Like I did one on space, I did try to do like a space album, and you realize there's only like so much depth you can get with space, and it's not very human, and it didn't really work for me. But I don't know. I just started writing this one, and it came out pretty naturally.
Yeah. And when you described the album process as feeling naked, what was it like? What was it like showing the rest of the band the things that you've been working on?
They know me pretty well, but there's definitely still stuff on this album that they didn't know about, or had not really like questioned. So it was strange showing them. It's almost more nerve-wracking showing the people that you like really love and care about something personal. I kind of found that writing the previous record, that it's the previous one records like stories about other people and people I'd met on tour, and I find that those people are so open because you're strangers.
Yeah.
And now, like, yeah, I'm doing this really personal record. It was the hardest people to show were like my mum and the band, but when they were accepting of it and they were like, oh, this is actually like amazing, I really relate to this bit, and I know this little bit about you, and it's amazing to hear more about that. It was not, I was so nervous showing them.
Yeah. I'm always wondering, who were you most nervous for? You always have mom. Your mom, yeah, because you always have one person, right? You always have one person that you're just like, oh, I can handle everybody, but this one is particularly scary. Why your mom?
Why my mom? I just care what she thinks. She's also, I mean, in a pretty blunt way, she's put a lot of her like life into bringing up me and my brother, and I don't want to let her down. I didn't let her come to a show for a very long time.
Really?
Really long time. Yeah, she's only ever come to a couple of shows now because I get really nervous when she's there. Yeah, so she actually grew up in Israel and moved to New York when she was a teenager. So she knows New York. And when we were doing a show in New York, like maybe our fourth show in New York, it was on the second album, it was the first time she saw a show.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, come to New York, Mum, and we're doing the show. Do you want to come? And she's like, yes, okay, I'll come. And I think that was like the clicking moment for her when she finally like understood that it was kind of a job. She was always asking me when I was going to go back to school until that point.
Is that one of the reasons why it's so scary to invite her into that world, because she didn't see it as a job?
Well, I think she obviously wanted me to, survive and be comfortable for the rest of my life, and she's put so much of herself into that being the case. I think a lot of mothers do, and I would have also felt like a total failure if I because she put so much effort into me. Like, I don't know, she was like trying to teach me things growing up, and it's science. She wanted me to do something vocational that had like a secure job at the end of it. And then I was just, the last minute was like, oh yeah, I dropped out of medical school and I'm gonna go be a musician.
That's like the worst thing you can do.
Literally the most unstable, worst thing you can possibly do.
Yeah.
I imagine she like nearly had a heart attack. But I think that moment was a big moment.
Was that also the first moment you felt successful? And I put air quotes because what is success anyway? But
yeah, that's another big question.
Yeah. But was that for you that you felt like maybe you made it?
I don't know. That is a bigger question. What is making it? What is successful? Success, I guess successful to me is the ability to keep growing something, keep improving and getting better, and being allowed to keep doing something. I feel very lucky to be, to actually be allowed to make music in the first place and to be able to keep doing it. I don't know if it was more success or just like just seeing the smile on your mum's face does something. It doesn't make you feel successful. It's more than that. It's like
acceptance isn't
from your
yeah.
She's accepted what is quite a big life choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's more than success in a way.
Yeah, it's a bit undescribable. Yeah,
it is indescribable.
Yeah. I want to go back to the title of the album, Dreamland, because from what I've read so far, it touches on some very heavy stuff sometimes, which makes the title a bit ironic, if you get what I'm saying. Because when I read about all the topics that you're writing about, it doesn't sound like a dreamland. If you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I guess it came from a teacher that I had when I was in 4th grade, a long time ago in America, and I used to drift off and daydream a lot. And I don't know, dreaming doesn't necessarily have to be abstract. Dreaming can be very real, and I think that's what I was doing. I'd kind of drift off and start thinking about other things when I was little, and like just that idea of like reliving things and memory and memories now. Like when you kind of relive memories now, you see them in a very different way. They've probably been changed a little bit. They're slightly different. And in that way, they are sort of dreamlike. But this teacher used to say, like, David, you're in Dreamland again. Come back. Come on. Mrs. Brooks, I remember she was like, I went to see her every Halloween and tried to scare her. But she always knew. She knew who I was. She could tell. Yeah, it's very clever. I liked her.
I like
yeah, that's where it comes from.
I like that. I figured, I'd like to know, is the song Deja Vu a glimpse of what could have been the 3rd album of Glass Animals?
Yeah, I think so. I think that song could have almost fit on the 2nd album. It was definitely a nod back to that. In all honesty, I didn't necessarily want that to be the first song to come out from the album.
Because will it be on Dreamland?
Yeah,
it will.
Yeah,
okay.
It will be. It is definitely a kind of nod back to the sounds of the previous record, but lyrically, I think it is definitely more personal. Talking about like being addicted. I don't know. I think weirdly sometimes you can get addicted to like the chaos of a relationship, not necessarily romantic. Or like
could be friendships as well.
Sexual, could be friendship, could be like family, anything.
Yeah,
I think especially in family, that's a big thing. I don't know. Sometimes growing up, you can get, if you kind of live in a chaotic place, a chaotic household, that can feel really comfortable to like recreate that later in life. I don't know. I've been trying to think about why people like sometimes like to fuck things up or let things keep going if someone else is being a little toxic in the relationship or something.
I think everybody is a little bit afraid of happiness because it feels so good. And when it feels good, you're just afraid that it's going to slip away.
Yeah, I think so. And I honestly think a lot of people think that they don't deserve it for one reason or another. And sometimes that's why, people fuck up for that reason too.
Because I feel with Heatwave, the latest release, I feel like you get a way better glimpse of what we can expect when it comes to Dreamland. Definitely.
That one for me is like it's a big part of the album. Yeah, and I think it's definitely more it's definitely got the vulnerability that I think is shown in a lot of the other songs, and it's one of my favorites.
It is.
Yeah, it's sad. It's quite a sad record overall. I was like looking through I'm doing like a outline of the record now for one of the streaming services, kind of track by track, and I'm going through and like it's pretty dark. The lyrics are not necessarily joyful. There's an optimism for sure, but Heatwaves definitely has that like sadness, but also at the same time, I guess there's an acceptance in it. Like the idea of that is that like you can't always make everyone else happy, even though you really want to, and you're told to your whole life that you need to be this like hero figure and not show sadness and not it comes down to that vulnerability thing again.
And you can sense it in the music itself, because the lyrics are pretty sad, but then the music, the sound of it is very upbeat and happy.
Yeah, I like that juxtaposition.
Yeah.
A lot of my like favorite like books and films have that juxtaposition, because I think it's quite hard to actually get the full weight of something, like the full like weight of sadness, if you do like a really just sad record that's sad the whole time. You kind of lose the roller. The downs don't feel as far down, and the like ups don't feel as high up and happy, and it becomes quite one-dimensional. So a lot of I love this book. I've talked about it a lot, called Everything is Illuminated. Do you know that book?
No,
it's this guy Jonathan Safran Foer, and he read it, but it's just like the perfect balance of like funny and sad, and the funny moments really make the sadness hit so much harder. And that's, I don't know, that's sort of the idea in a lot of the songs. I think it was really done a lot in like Motown music, and like Northern Soul songs. Like they're basically dance songs, but with really sad lyrics. Yeah, so it's nothing new.
But those are the best.
Yeah, of course, classic.
I have one last question for you. Is there an artist that has been really inspiring you lately? Yes,
there are a few actually.
Okay.
I can get up my what have I been listening to today? But I know a few off the top of my head. I've been listening to a lot of Arlo Parks. Do you know her?
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah,
she's amazing. Her voice is absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Oh, good.
It's so simple. She is the equivalent of less is more.
Definitely. So we've actually been working on some stuff.
You have?
Yes, I can't say any more.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But yes.
Okay. We're gonna keep it at that. What is your favorite Arlo Parks song?
I mean, Black Dog is the new one. I think that just it hits me in a very personal place. And I think it does for a lot of people. I think everybody knows somebody who struggles with mental health like that. And I've written songs about mental health, but I don't think I've ever quite gotten it like she did in that song. It's just like the perfect metaphor. Yeah.
Dave, I think we got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Arlo Parks, Perfume Genius. I like that record a lot.
Perfume Genius. Yeah, that's also a record that people keep bringing up. It's a very, beautiful, very, very good album.
That's what I was listening to today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
It's such a pleasure.
And enjoy the release. Please don't postpone it again.
We won't. No, we won't. We can't. It's happened. It's like in motion now,
okay, so. Yes.